everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into an incredible story. It's a journey that starts with a single, gigantic ship stuck in the sand, and it ends with the very phone in your hand or the food on your plate. This is the story of trade.
All right, let's get right into it. To really understand how trade works, we first have to look at a moment in recent history when the whole system just came to a screeching halt. So picture this. It's March 2021. The entire planet is glued to the news watching this one narrow strip of water in Egypt. Why? Because something has gone terribly, terribly wrong, and literally billions of dollars are on the line with every single hour that ticks by. Now, what is the Suez Canal? Well, you can think of it as one of the most important marine highways in the entire world. It's a massive shortcut that lets ships slice through Egypt instead of going all the way around Africa. We're talking about saving thousands of kilometers and weeks of travel time. It's absolutely crucial. And then this happens. A monster of a ship. The Ever Given, and I mean this thing is as long as 4 soccer fields laid end to end, it gets caught in a massive sandstorm. The captain loses control, and bam! It gets wedged sideways, completely blocking the canal. Nothing could get past. And here's where you see the scale of the problem. That one single ship in that one canal was holding up roughly 10% of all global trade. A tenth of all the goods moving around the planet just stopped, frozen. And the results? Absolute chaos. A traffic jam on a global scale. For almost a week, you had hundreds of ships piling up on both sides, creating this massive floating parking lot. And the consequences were huge. Oil prices started to climb, and soon enough, shops all over the world started reporting shortages of products. You know, a crisis like this really forces you to ask some bigger questions. Like, what was even on all those ships? Why are we constantly moving so much stuff across the planet? And what does any of this have to do with us, right here in South Africa? Well, the answer comes down to one simple, powerful word: trade. So that brings us to the really fundamental question here. Why do countries even bother to exchange things with each other in the first place? Why do we trade? At its very core, trade is just a simple exchange. A long, long time ago, people would barter, trading a bag of corn for a couple of chickens. These days, we use money, but the reason behind it is exactly the same: to get something we need or want from someone else who has it. And let's think about it from our perspective here in South Africa. We have things that the rest of the world really wants. These are our exports, the products we sell and send out of the country. We're rich in minerals like gold and diamonds. We dig up iron ore, and we grow amazing fruit that people in colder countries can't wait to buy. But on the flip side, there are also things we need that we either can't make ourselves or that other countries can make much better or more cheaply. These are our imports, the goods we buy and bring into the country. Things like oil to fuel our cars, life-saving medicines, and the advanced computers and machinery we need for our factories. This map right here shows that flow perfectly. You see those arrows pointing out? That's our exports, our fruit and our gold heading out to the rest of the world. And the arrows pointing in? Those are the imports, like oil and electronics, coming into our ports. It's this constant, busy, two-way street. Okay, so we have established that we trade all sorts of things, but not all trade goods are created equal. Let's break them down into a couple of different categories, starting with the stuff we literally pull out of the ground. First up, we have what are called primary products. Now, the word primary just means first, and that's exactly what these are. They're the first stage of any product. They are the raw materials taken straight from nature before they've been processed or changed. So we're talking about anything we dig up, grow, or chop down. Coal that's mined from the earth, wood that's cut from a forest, fresh fruit picked from a farm, or iron ore blasted from a quarry. Those are all perfect examples of primary products. So what happens next? Well, that brings us to secondary products. This is where the magic of manufacturing happens. We take those raw, primary products, ship them off to a factory, and use big machines to turn them into something completely new, and usually something much more valuable. This shows that transformation perfectly. Check it out. You start with a primary product, like iron ore, which is really just a special kind of rock. Then, through a whole lot of factory processing, that rock is transformed into an incredibly complex secondary product, like a car. But hold on, what about all the things we trade that you can't actually hold in your hand? This brings us to a really fascinating and vital part of our economy, the invisible trade. See, not all trade involves physical stuff being packed into a box and put on a ship. People can also sell their work, their special skills, and their time. And when someone performs a task for you in exchange for money, we say they are providing a service.
Take your local doctor, for example. You don't walk out of the doctor's office with a product in a shopping bag, right? No, you pay for their knowledge, their expertise, and their skill, their service to help you get healthy. And that right there is a form of trade.
And once you start looking for it, you see this kind of trade everywhere. Teachers provide the service of education. Hairdressers provide the service of a great haircut. Bus drivers, cleaners, car mechanics, they're all a huge part of this massive invisible trade network that we rely on every single day. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from a massive ship stuck in a canal all the way to your local mechanic. So let's zoom out one last time and put all these pieces together.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's this: trade connects everything and everyone. The Suez Canal crisis showed us just how fragile that connection can be, how one little problem can ripple across the entire globe. And the services in your own town show us how trade is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. It's all one giant, interconnected web.
Just think about it. The phone you use, the t-shirt you're wearing, the lunch you ate today. Every single one of those things has been on an incredible journey. Maybe starting as a primary product on one continent, being turned into a secondary product on another, and crossing oceans on a ship to get to you. So here's a final thought for you. What journey will you discover next?